Guido Krummacher. I'm a blockchain visionaire and enthusiast from the beginning, and I had a pleasure here to lead a discussion about FTX and to discover that FTX is just a criminal case and has nothing to do with blockchain. But it was also very interesting that we could take the time to explore what we could do better in the blockchain ecosystem according to self-regulation, and so to prevent that blockchain can be transparent and decentralized, which is our strength, which will cover the world.
I have the honor to be the first speaker here. It's always the pleasure then to wake you up a little bit and give a good introduction for this really great Crypto Mountain Days. The next 2 hours I will talk with you about FTX, disaster or just a criminal case. No, I thought that your heartbeat is going a little bit up. It's not 2 hours, it's about half an hour we are talking about. Yes, can I start here? So, I put on the first slide a smiley. The guys who have been here before know that I'm always try to entertain also a little bit to make it not too neutral on at a whole, and to give you a little bit more a background of the topic Reto asked me to talk about. This is FTX disaster or just a criminal case. I have to admit, I'm with none of the projects where I'm involved. I'm victim directly of FTX, but for sure we have had some investments in the surrounding of FTX. So, for example, BlockFi, where we had not small losses up to now, and I just came back from Bermuda to sue BlockFi to get our funds back, and I'm quite optimistic that some of the funds will come back, but in general this was all related to FTX, so I'm very happy to talk about this case. The people who don't know me, I have a small introduction slide. It's only one slide. These are the projects where I'm actually involved in as board member director, and these are the projects where I was incorporating board member since until 2018. So from the first moment I was in all these projects and try to bring them on a good track. So this is my background. You can see it later if somebody wants to have a deeper look, or talk to me whenever you like. First, I would like to start with questions. Who of you had to defend himself or herself because of FTX in the blockchain ecosystem? Can you raise your hand who has been approached by somebody and said, hey, what happens in the blockchain ecosystem with FTX? It's a scam. Only one? Everybody, huh? Oh, better. So, who of you told the other party that regulation for blockchain could help a bit to prevent such scams like FTX in future? Who of you? One? Only one. Good. So, but before we talk about FTX, we have another bomb came up. This is Silicon Valley Bank, Silvergate, and what was the third name? Signature Bank, yeah. I know. I'm not good with the name. So, we had another cases blowing up. I couldn't add all the latest. Oh, sorry. I'm looking to the wrong. So, yeah. So, Silvergate Bank. So, shock waves on the financial market, turbulence of Silicon Valley Bank, SVB largest bank failures in 2008, crypto bank Silvergate. So it's really a catastrophe what's happening here in the crypto market and in the blockchain market, that these projects are all failing and now have to be taken over by the serious old industry to take care of them. Is it really a blockchain matter? Is it really something according to blockchain? My opinion is SVB, Silvergate, and Signature Banks are not blockchain projects. They are neither decentralized nor they're transparent. I haven't seen anything in these banks that is fulfilling this request. And these are banks who have performed wrong business decisions and strategies. They have the interest problem, they have managed the things. So this is the reason why this bomb is exploding according to these banks. But everybody blaming us in the blockchain ecosystem that we are responsible, or the blockchain technology is responsible for this scams, for this insolvencies. Yeah, but a client, I will come up to this point a little bit later, you're raising up, but from the principle, all these projects have nothing to do with blockchain technology. They are not involved in it. So then we had, coming to FTX, our subject of today. So there was the same media campaign coming up directly when it happened, and it was all there. Everybody was talking about it. And here, because Silvergate is now fresh just 48 hours, maybe we have in this crypto mountain a little bit more than also a reaction. But I was after FTX, I was in Crypto Summit, I was as a speaker, I was in Davos, and then also the community was talking about it. FTX is a case showing that we need more regulation. It was clear. Nearly every panel, it was more regulation, it will help, except the panel where I was. And we have to take care that such a disaster at the blockchain industry is not happening again. This was the reaction of the blockchain ecosystem to FTX and to all the acquisitions you had, that FTX and crypto, this is the proof that Bitcoin and all is a criminal technology. My opinion on that is FTX is not a blockchain project. FTX is neither decentralized nor transparent. And it's a project used through and by criminals to perform money laundering. Yeah? They have been US government, this was the main reason. You can invest in FTX because it's supported by the US government. Yeah? So the new credibility now that the US government is involved in something. Yeah? So this was the reason. And there are so many big players investing in FTX. It can never fail. When blockchain failed, blockchain is now maybe in trouble, but FTX will take over. So this was in the whole ecosystem, the story we had before FTX crashed. Huh? So this was. So, and in my opinion, it's just my opinion, FTX could only develop the criminal energy only because it was not a blockchain project. It was not transparent and not decentralized. This was a good environment to make criminal activities. So my recommendation is on that. Every victim should go and get their money back. Okay, it's more simple to say this and to do it. But at least, as I said, I was now in Bermuda and did some research and some backgrounds. You can go for it. You can go for the insolvency process and get part of the assets. You can go for checking what happened in the balance sheets and in the bookkeeping shortly before the insolvency. If you find any transaction which is not proper, you have directly a liability of the management with their personal assets, with their personal liability, so you can go for that. And you have sometimes also insurances covering the board and the activities of the board, so you get additional compensation. So anybody who is the victim of this should not blame blockchain industry for that. They should go with a normal suing at courts, go for it and get the money back. It's a criminals, you have to get it back. But we all should distribute, if we really would love blockchain technology and if we would go for it, we all should go and tell the world that FTX has nothing to do with blockchain technology. Huh? As easy as that. And then they ask why. I said, yes, we are also not going for the Fed and asking them because somebody is using US dollar notes for criminal activities that they are responsible. Nobody has done it in the past. The Fed, you are responsible that drugs in South America are paid with your US dollar. Nobody did it. Why they do it in our direction? We have to be a little bit more brave. We have to be a little bit more have a straight back and really say no. So FTX is not a blockchain project. So we can all calm down, fine, and we could stop at this moment the whole speech. But I cannot do it with Guido because he planned a little bit more, so I have to think, what can we do? And this is another question we have to raise up. We have seen now processes, media campaigns, and everything coming up, so we have to think about what can we do that FTX cases will not happen in the blockchain industry, so in our ecosystem or in the near surrounding. And therefore we can think about it. It's a perfect case where we can think about it and take the analyze on it. So first of all, is it a disaster? And I say, no, it's not a disaster. It's not nice, but it's not a disaster, because that criminals using technology is normal. It happened in the past, it happens today, and it will happen tomorrow. This you cannot prevent. So you can make maybe your firewall against this criminal activities a little bit higher, but you will never find a criminal-free atmosphere or surrounding, because criminals always find a kind of ways. I had a project where they hacked us 15 million away. They had only an email address and a stolen mobile phone. It was quite brilliant. They failed because we could track them back according to blockchain technology, but unfortunately they're sitting in a country which is not happy to support with our the legal system such cases, so we have not our money back, but we could identify who it was, so this could be done. But even there, you maybe, as long as this criminal is sitting in this country, we cannot do anything, so we have to wait. But we have to take the lessons learned out of what we have seen for a better future public perception. Because it cannot be that the whole world is blaming us in the blockchain ecosystem for FTX and for Signature Bank and whatever, and we have nothing to do with it. So there we can take some lessons learned and find out what can we do better. So, in my opinion, we have been unarmed in this time, and we should now weaponize our ecosystem so that we can be armed in future. Unarmed one. We have, at least up to now, no efficient global lobby organization. Everybody who knows the political situation globally and knows how the things are working exactly knows that it's not, according to these banks, not only because there is maybe problems in the balance sheet. There's also a political interest and political activities behind, and lobby organizations who are pushing it. We have seen it from the beginning when we started in blockchain, that you always were people popping up you have never seen before, and so they made statements about crypto and blockchain or made manipulations on stuff like this, and you didn't know where they come from, and later you found out, okay, the nose smelled that there were groups, interest groups on it. You have interest groups in INATBA, this is the lobby organization for the European Union. There you find some of the guys where you can smell that they are not blockchain enthusiasts. There are a lot of enthusiasts, a lot of good people, but you also can smell that there are people try to do it. You have all the reaction of the banking associations in Germany try to push back and to push out the blockchain industry. It's all behind. So we need this lobby organization. And I ask myself why we missed this opportunity up to now. The next unarmed situation we had is that the old industry is trying via sponsoring to take over the voice of blockchain. You see a lot of projects who are in the blockchain ecosystem and sponsoring it, who at least only use blockchain technology, but not the whole setup and the soul of blockchain. They just take the technology to have a private blockchain or have a controlled blockchain, the way using it in replacing their stream they had up to now in logistics or whatever they are in medicine, but they are not really blockchain enthusiasts who say, we go for the whole picture or the whole goals and visions we want to have in the blockchain system. And they sometimes also stay in some industrial countries, so they are not really acting with us globally. And these guys are coming from the old industry. They have their old systems, IT systems, now transferring to the new technology. And by that, they feel now that they should sponsor things. They have a lot of money. That's nice. We appreciate all the sponsors. But they are coming also with that they scare our ecosystem. So they are also parts of this whole perception we see. So they come up. We have to follow what regulators want. I've been last summer in Rotkreuz. There was a panel, 5 guys, all financed and by ventures and everything out of the old world, and they were sitting there, exchanges, funds, market makers. Yeah, it's good that we have now a regulation coming up. This gives us certainty, and now we know how to go. None of them guys have really read MiCA, what is coming up on the European level, and what this means for a lot of projects. Some projects fit to this MiCA regulation, a lot of projects not. So they will wake up one morning and will find out that they have a significant problem they haven't seen. So, and they're coming up also with another thing, more regulation is needed to prevent criminal activities. Is really regulation preventing criminal energies? Maybe I have something in mind about Lehman Brothers, I had something Wirecard. These are all in a full regulated environment. Did they prevent any criminal activities? I would say no. So, has any law ever stopped a criminal business activity? I don't see this. Oops. So, and because of that, and you have now a hard start already, let's have a small mental break, and it's time to tell a story. I prepared a little bit also for entertainment for you, a small story, and I hope that you all will be happy to that. Maybe you know this picture, and now we see the story. We are in the year 2014. The whole world is guided by governments and central banks. Only a small group of blockchain visionaries resist against the empire. The secret magic potion is decentralized blockchain. The lead blockchain visionaries are Satoshi Nakamoto and Retix Guardientix, who are close friends. The commander of the village is Atonix, sorry, is an I missing, Multiplex. The people at the empire lived, there is no any bridge to existing persons, just to give this claim in front. The people of the empire live in centralized systems with a lot of criminality, corruption, manipulation, unequal distributed chances for life and wealth. Only the leading tribe at the empire lives in plentifulness and decadence. So the empire didn't like the approach of the blockchain visionaries. They set fortresses around the village to secure that decentralized blockchain cannot leave the village. At the late morning in March 2020, the blockchain visionaries attacked the different fortresses of the empire. For Satoshi and Retix, it was fun. For the empire, ending in a nightmare. The next morning, the empire sent the commander Antonius Regulatus to the village complaining about the misbehavior of the blockchain visionaries. The village has violated the regulations. As you know, blockchain technology was never part of our existing environment. Blockchain technology has to fit to the regulation and is only allowed to be distributed if the empire allows it. And your behavior of destroying our fortress just to keep you in your village is not polite. The fortresses are made for your protection. I expect that you apologize by tomorrow and maintain the rules. The next day, the village sent the messenger Oldix Industrialix to the local commander of the empire. He brought a short message delivered in a paper roll. Antonius Regulatix read the message and became very happy. From now on, the blockchain visionaries and the empire lived in peace and harmony. Do you want to know what was written in the message? Okay, then let's have a look. A nice paper message. Dear Antonius Regulatus, dear empire, we apologize for our impolite behavior. We didn't want to disturb your centralized system. For sure, we will do whatever possible to adapt our decentralized system in the best way to your centralized system and try to make you, Antonius Regulatus, totally happy. It also makes sense because we only live in a small village and your empire is so huge that we could not expect to approach or improve our system, which has been there forever. We should also not live our life in peace and fair distribution of chances and values, whilst your people live in such a bad environment. We have to take care of them by adapting fully to the existing. We will never attack your fortress again and will accept all your rules and regulations. The only last wish we have is that we can still name it as blockchain visionaries and the technology as blockchain. This is all we want. Sincerely yours, Atonix Multiplex. Do we want to write the story like this? I don't want. So I make a small comment on that. So, coming back to our world. So first thing we have to do is we have to communicate actively if we disagree. Meaning by that, we have to defend our opinion and we are allowed that we have a different opinion. If you have seen the past, in so many cases where we have been attacked, everybody was going down and not responding because I can only say something wrong or I can only be a target on this. No, let's be proud, standing there and say, no, this is not blockchain. Blockchain is this A, B, and C. And this is the real technology. It's good for us. Yeah, the cryptocurrency might be sometimes also used by criminals, but it's not designed for it, and others do it as well. And the blockchain technology, yeah, okay, this has to be regulated in environment, but we want to do something new, not in this way. We have to be straight and say, this is our technology, this is our approach, and this is our goals we want to go for. Because we are standing for a larger group of people already who are joining and sharing these approaches, and we should go for. So second, regulators are not as strong as they want to be seen. They say, if you're not following your regulations, we stop your business. This is making you fearing. Fear and panic. And I worked 6 years in war areas. I've seen bombs falling. I've seen people there. In my entire life until now, and I have a little bit of track record already, never fear and panic has ever brought anything positive. So why, if they try to fear us, we take this up? Why? I have not to take it up. I can go to court. If I'm not agree with a decision of a regulatory body, I can go to court. It's open, we can do it. Maybe we lose, maybe we win, but we get, in some countries with a legal system, we get also protection until that, a preliminary protection. So we can go for it. We can go to other countries. I just traveled around the Caribbean and something that visited additional companies. I was in Dubai, I was in Saudi Arabia. They're outside of our limited scope of US and of European countries, 28 countries. They're still in another 160 countries where we can go for. Blockchain is decentralized. We are global. We all went in the past. Now the best spot is Switzerland. Switzerland was great. It's good up to now. Yeah? Then Singapore. Singapore was the next hotspot. Then there was Dubai. Now Dubai is the next hotspot. But they got now decisions which are not in favor of them. Yeah? But why we are not being a little bit more relaxed and say, yeah, our business is global, so we can go wherever we want, and then we are out. Yeah? Then for a while or for a longer time we are out. We are just flexible. And it's not nothing what you think, I cannot do it. The old industry has done it always. Starting from the weapon industry. They always went on the globe to countries where they could do their business. The VIT circles we had in the old industry. The tax locations to get lowest tax as possible. Or the chemical industry with all the licenses. The pharmaceutical industry. They all do it. They've done it for decades. Why we think we cannot do it? We can do it. Because we have one advantage. I don't need a storage to store somewhere my blockchain transactions in it. A physical one. I don't need to have goods I have to count and put in the storage and trucks to take them out. We are in a cloud, so let's use it. And another topic is, all the authorities you're working with, as long as you make the things easy for them, they can treat it. But the officers in the authorities, these are people who are not entrepreneurs. They are not working in the normal industrial life. They have to see no liability. They don't want to have any liability, and they're on no risk. So if you make things a little bit more complicated for them, they say, I can only burn my fingers. Let's move it somewhere. So not in any case, but the couple of things will help you. But don't sit there and wait until the snake is scuffing you. The third, we have to bundle our voice and power. As I said, we have no organization or no lobby organization, and even in all these situations, I was not aware of a lot of blockchainers really talking about it and really going to the media and saying, this is bullshit. So we have to make a strong and loud voice with many of us, and aligned in the principal values of blockchain. Nobody except Satoshi Nakamoto has at least really defined in a paper or in a document what are our values. A lot of people like Charles Hoskinson, like Vitalik and others has developed their ideas, but we have never brought it to a list and say these are our 10 core principles. Because everybody should know if blockchain fails, all of us fail. All of us who are involved, investors, exchanges, bank partners, whatever. So we should be in our interest to defend it. Fourth, stay decentralized. This is important. Wherever. You're decentralized in your technology. But are you decentralized in your corporate structure? Are you decentralized in your operations? Are you in all these matters, are you still decentralized? Or you just going to a law firm and the law firm says, yeah, okay, in our country we have here the list how you can do it, and then they squeeze you in the legal system of one country. Is this really still the world? We in a lawyer, and I'm a lawyer from my background, but I'm not a fan of the big law firms, so the smaller ones, so I worked always on the customer side and directed them. We can be much more decentralized even in legal. We just have to do it, to be creative and to take the responsibility. No law firm is doing it. The lawyer is sitting in one country and he's responsible for it. And then to go to the next one. I had to get legal opinions according to security from US, from South Korea and everything. I started with a leading company, Baker McKinsey in Zurich, but then they couldn't manage it. I had to go to different partners and talk to everybody, to anybody of them to really get it. I got it at least, so it's good, but this, you saw still in this huge company, law firms, you have still a centralized approach they are on it. So you have to take it yourself, take your in-house lawyer and make it decentralized. And you have to hammer some weapons. The first weapon for me is still transparency. So we cannot stop with transparency all the criminals, but we can make the life more difficult if we build a trust of transparency. And this is what we do, for example, in the project where I'm involved, LISC. If you go to the website, you can see the financials, you can see the roadmap, you can see any programming it's done, you can see the feedback of the community, you can see nearly everything on it. And this prevents, maybe, I should be not too happy right now, it can change tomorrow, but I believe that with this transparency, we can prevent a lot of criminal activities on this blockchain. The second web it's not designed yet, but we should make fraud visible and transparent and give any person the opportunity to use the tools. E.g. audit, for example, Audit Chain, where Jason is here, or Notadec, it's another project where I'm involved in. These are projects who have the ability that we can produce an environment in accounting, controlling, which is based on blockchain, which is guaranteed that there's no fraud, where you can set reporting systems on it, which can be used not by everybody, but by a lot of people who are able to and have a little bit of knowledge about it and do their analysis themselves. So even journalists, if they have a good education and have a good training according to finance and auditing, they can use it then and they can identify that these companies are not moving funds from the clients to their balance sheet or in another direction to do the fraud. Give me a few minutes. So this is a system which can help us. In Switzerland, we have the self-regulation organization, so we protect our ecosystem partly, that we have at least, we control our ecosystem ourselves. And this is also something we should implement here in blockchain with the technologies we have to show up that we have nothing to hide and that criminals cannot work very easy on that. Give me 2 minutes, yeah? I started a little bit late. Sure. So, and one thing, a slide I made a little bit more with the text again, because this is important for me. We cannot adapt to all the regulatory ideas and regulations in 190 countries. It's impossible. But we can offer them solutions which are even better and give them trust of transparency instead. And I think this is something, it's a fair offer we can do in direction. Following the regulation leads us, if we just follow the regulation like they want, it leads us on a road which is more and more narrowed. If we give them something, they will ask for more. So we have to turn around the process and we have to come up with our own approaches to say, these are the approaches of tomorrow, how you can prevent fraud or criminal activities. And we have to learn ourselves, not asking without asking the regulators for it. I never entered blockchain ecosystem to make regulators happy. So, okay, then I skip this. I'm working on a concept of a lobby organization. Who is interested can contact me. It's not ready, but on a good way to do, and who wants to join, I'm very happy on that. So then quickly go, what have been our core values and ideas of blockchain? Transparent, decentralized, secure, fair ecosystem, give all people of the planet access to this, give a human, any human of our planet, equal and fair chances to participate. This was the idea when we started blockchain. And this is the possibility we have to take care of our control of our data, take care of business activities everywhere, and not be part of this old system to make it better for everyone. And therefore I would like to remind, there was Martin Luther, we had Mahatma Gandhi, Martin Luther King, George Danton, Edward Snowden, Mikhail Gorbachev, Nelson Mandela, Václav Havel, Julian Assange, Aung San Suu Kyi, Klaus Schwab, for sure not. And finally, the blockchain visionaries. Any substantial revolution in the world was not performed by people who agreed to the empire. And this is for me the final thing. Thank you for your audience.
Thank you very much, Guido. I believe we should add a picture, Guido, Schmitz, Krummacher, in the same line, not on the same level like Klaus Schwab. Thank you very much for this. I just want to ask a little bit in the audience, do you totally agree on that, what Guido presented? Hands up. Oh, wow, okay. Is there something, also there are some people, they haven't raised, what is the reason why you say it's, I do not agree? For instance, Florian. Okay, I see.
Because you know, most of the, let's you know, be honest, most of the people are stupid with technology. They will never come to that point to be, you know, careful with their private keys. So you will have at one point institutional custody. But I would agree that there is some need for open source centralized software systems, you know. So basically you have FTX, but the code is open sourced. Everybody can see it. We know what they do. So that would be trust. You could have an institutional custody, and it's a combination. I would not 100% agree on this. And the second thing is, if you shut down the internet connection, which is controlled by the, you know, countries where you're living or where you go in each planet, in each country, then you know, this will also be a problem. So there need to be Starlink or beyond, you know, technologies to be used.
Okay, yeah, Tony, no. So.
I do share this view, Florian, as well, because it's not black and white.
Not
the old system is the bad system and the new system is the good system. I think we have to carve out the best of the two of them, and in order to build the bridge, because a smart guy or criminal guy who always will find the loopholes in order to do this and that. Having said that, I think the mix is really what is important. And regulation can be negative, but it can also be positive in one side. I think it depends on the view you have. If you want to convince the entire value chain, both sides, you need some kind of trust. I don't think it must be super, super regulated. And you have the transparency of the technology as well. But this is something we have to take into account. It's not A or B. I can give you an example. Look in Germany at the Fraunhofer Institute. They made a project called Digital Südwest 2025. And they wanted to adapt everything on blockchain, and they failed. Because it's not everything or nothing. Long story short, let's live with the mix, try to build a bridge, and work together.
Okay, thank you very much, Tony. Maybe a hint for tomorrow in the afternoon. Tony will talk about tokenization, about TLT law in Switzerland. That really gives us a very good ground to embark with new projects, etc. But I'm not a lawyer. No, sure. Maybe that.
Comment on this?
Yeah, sure, but very short.
So yeah, very short. So Florian, I totally agree. A lot of people have no clue about the technology, and especially also with a lot of regulators have no really clue about it. And this is the problem, that they create something which is not fitting to the technology. Yeah. So there's one thing. And the other thing, yes, I'm doing a little bit black and white to to make it a little bit easier the discussion to raise it up. But on the other hand, if you have a car and a steam train, you can also not combine it. There's no combination. So in some parts you need a separation. On other parts you can bring it together. But this is all what I said. I'm not against the regulation. I'm for self-regulation in a good way, because I think only a self-regulation can really cover a regulation which we are all happy and which meets the targets of the regulators. What they present now is not meeting the target. It's just bullshit partly.
So Guidos Revolutionarios. Thank you very much.